Hello, and thank you for joining us for Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1. And we're coming to you live from the Broadcasting House in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. My name is Giverson, Maina, and our sign language interpreter is Caroline Njoroge. So join us for the next 1 hour or so for news within, of course, across the country. And start interacting with our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, and mine is at Giverson Maina. And now let's head straight to news matters. Saba Saba now. There is heightened security in Nairobi's Central Business District and its environs in anticipation of a planned Saba Saba protest. Now, a spot check by KBC Channel 1 showed security roadblocks mounted on major roads leading to the CBD. Now, Parliament Road has also been cordoned off. Many Nairobians were forced to walk to town due to transport limitations. Now, several people were also arrested for attempting to hold demonstrations.
Yes, alafu na
Now, those are live pictures from Nairobi, and we understand that the police are listening to that a particular soundbite. And those are live pictures, or rather, these are pictures from CBD, Nairobi's CBD, and that is where the Parliament was cordoned off, and that is our mission that has always been there when there are protests in Nairobi, just to make sure that the Parliament buildings are well secured. We understand that the police had, of course, put various roadblocks at various major roads leading to Nairobi. That is, of course, at Jogoo Road was, the roadblocks were put at a City Stadium. And of course, we understand at Thika Road earlier, the road was or rather blocked at All Soaps area, and the PSV's vehicle, or rather matatus, were not allowed to make it their way to the CBD. And of course, even there was another roadblock at Wayakiwe at 89 area. These are pictures earlier on recorded by our very own Eden, who was in town earlier in the day, and these are pictures the way they were looking at in Nairobi's Central Business District. Police manning, that is roundabout, or rather intersection between the Parliament Road and the City Hall Way. And of course, the police were not letting any chances, or they were not taking any chances as much as security around the precincts of Parliament were concerned. These are the police officers on horses, just of course policing the CBD, that is around the archives area, just to ensure that there were no any incidents of insecurity. But we understand that the Nairobi CBD was largely peaceful, and only a pocket of activists, or rather individuals, who came out to protest. Now let's take you to Uasin Gishu County, and Uasin Gishu County Commissioner Saba Saba, 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 Commissioner S Wilberforce Siacharani has warned that those planning to participate in the Saba Saba demonstrations that no process would be allowed in the county. Now, he has, in the meantime, assured residents and the business community that adequate security measures have been put in place. Now, Siacharani has urged them to open their businesses without fear. Take a look.
Tumepanga maandamano ya Saba Saba. Sisi hatujui hiyo maandamano ya Saba Saba. Watu wajitokeze waende na biashara yao kama kawaida. Kama jeshi la polisi tumepanga mikakati na tunashukuru tarehe 25 wananchi wa Uasin Gishu Eldoret mulikataa mwito wa wale waliita muende mfanye maandamano. Msimame na askari, msimame na mali yenu, mfanye biashara kama kawaida. Serikali iko tayari kupeana security na kuanzia sasa security itakuwa iko salama.
And away from Uasin Gishu, we take you to Olkalau in Nyandarua County, where principal secretaries and senior government officials have hit the ground in Olkalau inspecting development projects in the area. They have called on area residents to back the government and aids a candidate in the forthcoming by-elections as a guarantee to the perpetuity of government programs. Earlier on, Energy Principal Secretary Alex Oshira was inspecting power connectivity projects in Kambi, Minyore in Karau Ward. And now we join Regina Manyara, who has the report.
Yeah, the new program ya dam in cage farming. Na kwa hivyo nawaeleza wa Kenya tuendelee kukuza samaki. Samaki iko na biashara mzuri sana, na leo pia tuko na chairman wetu wa hii dam. Wacha nimpatie nafasi moja kwa sababu alikuwa ametuandikia barua kwa ofisi yetu ya Blue Economy na akatueleza angetaka hii support ili atueleze watapanga aje na hii kikundi yao. Wako na kikundi ya over 72 members who are beneficiary of this program. Chairman, sema nasi ili kidogo ili tueleze hii program inawasaidia vipi, Chairman?
Okay. Amjamboni wote. Mimi naitwa David Chaga, mimi ndio chairman wa hii dam. Hii dam kutoka hapa kwa Kiongo imeteremuka mpaka Lake Naivasha. Kwa hivyo hii ndio source moja ya Lake Naivasha. Kama vile wamesema, mimi kwa upande wangu nashukuru serikali yetu kwa kutukumbuka kwa yale mambo yametuletea siku ya leo. Mimi naona ni maendeleo ambaye itatusaidia watu wa area hii kwa vile tutakuza samaki kama vile wenzetu wamesema. Tuna cages tumeletewa hapa na leo wameleta mpaka chakula, tumeletewa mpaka hii boat ya kutusaidia. Hatukuwa na boat bereni, lakini sasa tunafurahi sana kwa yale yametendeka siku ya leo. Ile kitu ya kwanza ni kwamba, ya mwisho ni kwamba sisi kama wanarua tutasaidiana na communities wa hapa, ndio samaki hii ikikuwa ya kuuzwa tutasaidiana na hawa ndio wapate samaki ambaye watakuwa wakitumia. Kwa hivyo yangu ni kusema tu ni asante sana kwa wale wote wamefanya hiyo kazi. Asanteni.
Umesikia vile chairman amesema, and on behalf of the State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, we want to assure the people of Wakiongo and the other people who are doing cage farming in the dams that the ministry is committed to train you and capacity build you. The two director generals when you wako hapa, Kenya Marine, iko na over 400 scientists ambayo wako in the entire Kenya. They will be training our people on doing cage fishing and cage farming. We have our team and our partners from Tunga Feeds who are providing them with the feeds, and they'll be training them on how to feed, because it's a whole program and a whole process. And of course, Kenya Fisheries Service, the DG has also mentioned that we are providing them with fishing boats and fishing gears so that they can also be trained and they're equipped to ensure that they do fish farming. And today I'm very happy because this project, it could not have been possible without the State Department for Irrigation, and my colleague here, PS Kemodo, will say a word or two, because this dam is the one that has enabled our people to do fish farming. And we are doing this project across all the dams in Kenya. So this is one of the pilot projects to ensure that fish farming and then to ensure that increase in the revenues in the fish farming is very clear. Currently, we are at 39 to 40 billion, and our potential in blue economy is over 350 billion Kenya shillings. To achieve that potential, we need to do fish farming, we need to do maritime transport, and many other aspects within the blue economy activities. So, PS, maybe you can say something about the importance of this dam.
And now that is PS Modoni, PS for Blue Economy and Fisheries, Betsy, or rather Betsy Modoni Njagi, PS for Blue Economy and Fisheries. And away from Olkalau, Nyandarua, let's take you to Kakamega County, where a family in Kakamega is demanding answers from authorities after their kin was hacked to death in what is alleged to be a family land dispute. Now, the family of Thomas Wandabwa claims the attack was carried out in the presence of local administrators who they accuse of inaction when the violence broke out. Now, the incident occurred during a boundary demarcation on family land in Marakusi, Lugari sub-county. One of their uncles is said to have disrupted the demarcation exercise with the help of hired goons who attacked the family, hacking Wandabwa to death. Police have since arrested 3 suspects in connection with the killing as investigations continue.
Akaripoti ya kwamba msikuje bure siku ya leo, mkuje na security. Serikali, mimi nataka tu haki ya mzee wangu kwa sababu amekufa kama ako na kibali chote cha shamba lake.
Walifika na kuruka na wakasema wataki kufuata imitation, wanataka shamba lililobaki. Baba akawaambia kwamba shamba halipo, mzee alimaliza kila kitu na wafuata imitation chinzi ilivyo. Walikata na kusema imitation waitambui. Wanataka kuuza shamba kwa lazima, wanasema lazima shamba liuzwe.
Now let's head to the corridors of justice, where the High Court has reserved its ruling in a case challenging the legality of custodial orders granted to the DCI to investigate a woman accused of publishing President William Ruto's flight details on social media. This comes after the High Court ordered her unconditional release on Friday last week.
Before Justice Alexander Muteti, the defense argued that the DCI miscellaneous application was not supported by sufficient factual evidence and amounted to an abuse of the court process.
Yet none of us knows whether or not he was actually on board. So, my lord, how can an offense crystallize? Because an offense must be based on facts.
They argue that the president has constitutional immunity, thus making the application legally untenable.
Article 143, my lord, immunizes the head of state from criminal proceedings. That means the head of state cannot even record a complaint anywhere in the Republic of Kenya.
Also in contention by the defense was the nature of the charges, arguing that the prosecution should not have relied on Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, as the nature of the offense falls under the Civil Aviation Act.
Realize that the offense that the subject is being investigated of is of tracking an aircraft, which is designated under the Aviation Act. But now she's being charged under the Cybercrimes Act.
Justice Alexander Muteti is expected to deliver his ruling virtually on Thursday this week.
Released, she will be going home, but she's expected in court on Thursday so that the final determination of the matter can be made. And we are very grateful to the courts for standing with justice.
And I take you back to Olkalau in Nyandarua County, where the PS irrigation is currently addressing. Take a look.
Ndio tuweze kufanya irrigation, we need to do water harvesting. So hii dam inatusaidia sana katika mambo ya water harvesting. Kama vile tumeelezewa na engineer hapa, hii dam iko na capacity ya 450,000 cubic. Na itatusaidia kuweka 250 acres under irrigation on the first phase. Baada hiyo bado, when we add more storage water tanks, we'll be able to double that to 500. And just for you to understand that eka moja ikiwa na maji consistent, kwa vile nao ukiwa na irrigation unaweza fanya 3 seasons. Ikiwa na maji consistent, eka moja mtaweza kulima mboga, ano hapa kuna wakulima wa mboga, viazi, na kama ukipatia example ya mboga, eka moja inakupatia 10,000 comfortably. Ukiwa na 10,000 na 10,000 eka moja na mboga moja ni around 30 shillings. Inamaanisha in one season utakuwa na 300,000. Lakini sasa ile hakuna mvua na hakuna maji na reticulation, utapata hata mkulima hawezi fikisha hiyo pesa. So ukifanya 3 seasons, if you are very hard working, ama utafanya 2 seasons, uko na 600,000. So hiyo ndio the agenda ambayo His Excellency the President katika akiongea mambo ya better, hiyo ndio agenda tunaongea about. Ya kwamba ukipata maji inaweka pesa mkononi, na hiyo ndio kazi yetu. Na ndipoza muweze pia, the other issue for you to be able to take advantage of the export market ambazo zimekuwa created. For you to take advantage of the export market, you also need to have water for you to do irrigation, which ensures utakuwa na consistent production in your farms. So team yetu ya NIA baada ya kujenga hii dam italetea extension officers ambao wataonesha wakulima apart from maji, how do you utilize this water in a manner that is efficient, so that nyi wote mweze kupata maji, na pia how do you make sure that ile mazao mnaeka ni mazao itaweza kuattract quality ambayo tunaweza peleka mpaka to the export market, so that mkisikia rais ametoka nje ameenda amesign agreement ya export, hata nyinyi mjue iko very relevant to you, but you have to make sure that first mko na maji, mko na enough quantities, that tunataka pia mkue kwa cooperative so that you can be able to aggregate, and also most important to make sure mko na the right quality. Na pia mmesikia serikali kiongea mambo ya County Aggregation Industrial Park. Hiyo County Aggregation Industrial Park, most of the investors wamekuja wa agro processing ambao wanataka kuinvest, wanasema they can only invest in a county that has consistent produce. Nyandarua County is one of the blessed county because you have many colonial dams, so we have a lot of potential of water harvesting, na tutaendelea kufanya kazi na nyinyi wote katika the whole of Nyandarua County to make sure that to rehabilitate all the colonial dams so that you can have enough water and Nyandarua can become the food basket, one of the food basket of the country. Asanteni sana. Maybe nilikuwa na engineer hapa. Engineer anaweza mention tu kidogo some of the technical issues of the dam ambao ndio agency yake ina implement the dam.
Thank you, PS. Kama vile umesema, the total capacity 450,000 cubic. We are now in phase 1 of this project. We are targeting 250 acres, 1,000 farmers. And this dam has a potential of an increment all the way up to 5,000. So in the timelines in terms of the project which are doing at the moment, we have a month from today, everything should be completed and handed over to the farmers for production. Otherwise, in terms of the total cost, is about 45 million. And in terms of payback, the way the PS has indicated, about 300,000 per acre, we are talking of getting about 70 million in a year. So that means the payback period is just within a year. So it's a very good project in terms of food security and income generation. Asante.
Hamjambo. Watu wa Kiongo hamjambo. Mmefurahia hii maneno? Mmefurahia? PS wetu, PS wa blue economy, PS wa irrigation, PS wetu wa stima. Mimi nafikiria hii ni siku ya maana sana hapa, ya kwamba sasa tuko na wakulima 1,000 zaidi ambao walikuwa wanalima misimu kama miwili kwa mwaka, kwa sababu wanalima wakati kuna mvua. Sasa kando ya mvua, kutoka Januari mpaka Disemba watalima mfululizo bila kusimama, na mimi nafikiria hiyo itazalisha chakula zaidi. Kwa hivyo tuwashukuru kwa sababu mngechagua kwenda pale nyingine, lakini mkaona ni vizuri mkue hapa, na pia ushirikiano wenu kwamba wizara yetu ya maji, irrigation na watu ya blue economy mnafanya kazi pamoja. Sasa vile tukitaka tuongeze pia watu wa agriculture na watu ya cooperatives. Umeona hapa tuko na cooperative yetu ya wavuvi. Siku ya Jumatatu tutakuwa na Farmers Day pale kwa Olkarau Dairy, na tungetaka pia hawa wavuvi na wakulima hapa wakuwe part of that, kwa sababu watanufaika aina fulani. Kwa mfano Umeuliza swali hapa juu ya storage. PS, I'm proud to tell you that next week tutakuwa tunafungua ile cold storage yetu ya Olkalau na tutapatia stores wavuvi kutoka hapa kwa Kiongo ndio waweze kupeleka samaki yao pale na waweze kuuza. Pia pale kwa railway station pale Olkalau tuko na stores tunafungua hapo. Tutahakikisha kwamba stores kadhaa, nimeongea na chairman wa wavuvi hapa, tupatie watu wa samaki. So madam, usijali mambo ya soko. Hii damu hapa, hata ukitoa samaki aina gani, watu wa Nyandarua watakula yote. Hata hakuna haja ya soko huko nje. Kwa sababu hakuna samaki hapa. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Kala Nyandarua ni mkore ya samaki. Ni mkore ya samaki. Unajua samaki ni white meat ambaye hakuangi na magonjwa mingi. Kwa hivyo tuta export nguru kwa nchi nyingine kama Nairobi na kwingineko. Hata kabla tupike ng'ambo, tuko na shortage.
Those are government officials, including Principal Secretary of the State Department of Irrigation, CPA Fantas Kemodo, and of course other leaders, including Moses Kuria, speaking in Olkalau in Nyandarua County. Now let's take you back to the corridor of justice, where the High Court in Kisumu County has found the Inspector General of Police, the National Police Service, and the Attorney General in contempt of court after they failed to comply with the directives issued on March 25th, 2026, requiring the publication of new regulations of public order management within 90 days from the date of the order. Now, the petition before Justice Alfred Mabea is seeking justice for the victims of police brutality during the 2017 general election, where the petitioners either lost their kin or suffered various abuses in the hands of security officers. Lawyers appearing for the petitioners accuse the state of taking advantage of the ordered reparations to delay justice for the victims. Justice Mabea has consequently summoned the state officers on Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, to answer to the contempt.
We have noted with great regret that it would appear that institutions that are mandated to ensure compliance are taking the issue of reparations as excusing them from complying with accountability as regards the structural interdict. We want to reiterate that reparation do not take away structural accountability for members of NPS, for members of IPOA, and any other stakeholder that is a public body that is mandated to comply with the court orders that were given.
We know that there is a process of reparations that is being undertaken, but reparations should go hand in hand, or compensation should go hand in hand with accountability.
Matters politics now. Western Kenya leaders allied to President William Ruto have condemned rising political goonism, accusing a section of politicians of sponsoring violence at public meetings only to blame their rivals. The leaders, including Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka, said political competition should be anchored on policies rather than intimidation and chaos. Here's more. The pro-government leaders drawn from Western Kenya warned that leaders who sponsor violence are undermining democracy and eroding public confidence ahead of next year's polls.
Wameanza kuwa na goons, mambo kupiga watu, ati kwa sababu ukubaliane. Tunataka kulaani, irrespective of the political party, let everybody be given an opportunity to express their policies and what they want. Ili tusikuje kuvua watu, kupiga watu, we want to condemn goonism. Ile vitu tuliona Kisii, mahali tumeona wengine inapangwa.
The leaders comprising Bungoma Governor Ken Lusaka and Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula accused the opposition of being behind unrest in various parts of the country.
Mheshimiwa ule aliretire, anaitwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Anapigia na tembea simu usiku, anamwambia nyinyi Waluhya mprepare, mimi nataka kuwapatia uongozi, alimsupport mtu mmoja apate uongozi. Kama Uhuru alishindwa kupatia Raila urais, Uhuru anaweza saidia Muluhya apate president? Sisi tufuate tu hii barabara ya hapa Sugoi karibu. Tupatie Ruto miaka ingine 5. Na kisha maliza miaka 5 Lusaka yuko.
Meanwhile, the United Democratic Alliance officials based in Busia County have dismissed calls for political zoning ahead of the 2027 general election, saying it is Kenyans who will have the final say through the ballot.
Wale ambao kweli ni wa UDA na wanaenda kwa chama kwa rally za ODM na wanavaa kofia ya ODM na wanaendorse candidates wa ODM, we must have some disciplinary action. We are planning. We shall sit and discuss about it because it's not in order.
In Roysambu area in Nairobi County, youth have been urged to resist misuse by politicians to cause havoc in political gatherings of their rivals. The call was made during the launch of the National Forum Party.
Usitumike kama gun na usitumike vibaya, sababu wanasiasa wanapenda vijana kama hawa wakitumiwa vibaya, na sisi tumekataa, tukasema we have to form our own vehicle for us to liberate this country, for us to bring the cost of production, especially in business, to rudisha chini.
Now that story takes us to a very short commercial break. Don't go too far. There's still so much more lined up for you.
Good play. Shelter up has done well. Crossing. Haaland! Would you just know it? Erling Haaland puts Norway ahead.
Brilliant header. Norway probably deservedly take the lead.
Barely a touch in the game. But now he's got the most important one of the lot. A solid header past Alisson. He's scored in 14 straight.
I am Chef Ombachi. Today I'm cooking ugali na Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Boil water, done. Add Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Done. Grab your mwiko and stir the mixture. Done. Enjoy the amazing aroma. Enjoy incredibly soft ugali. Done. Ingia ligi ya kipekee na Ajab Premium Maize Meal.
Ebu fikiria environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
I'm very happy that KBC is making it possible for Kenyans to watch World Cup. I'm still hedging my bets on the teams that are there. Don't ask me which one for now. Let's leave that one for another day.
And now welcome back. You're watching Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1. And now let's cross over to Kisumu County, where politicians seeking to succeed the outgoing Kisumu Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o have been challenged to shun politics of tokenism and instead champion agenda-based politics. Now, Kisumu Deputy Governor Dr. Matthews Owili noted that the Lakeside County residents risk getting a raw deal by electing leaders who drive the politics of handouts at the expense of service delivery. Dr. Owili is seeking to succeed his current boss alongside 6 others.
The politics of tokenism, I think, probably is not a Kisumu problem only, but it is worse in Kisumu. Yeah, if we are not careful, and this is my warning as a sitting county deputy governor, we will have political seats go to the highest bidder. People will literally actually buy their positions. And when that happens, I think that service delivery will suffer the greatest. In particular, in Kisumu, you've seen, I mean, there's quite a bit of money being spent by those who are seeking different political offices. And I have countless numbers of examples to give the people here to confirm that having a lot of money is not equivalent to good leadership.
And away from that, 6 suspects arrested in connection with the alleged attack on Linda Mwananchi's convoy in Keumbu failed to take play at a Kisii court after the prosecution and arresting officer failed to show up. Our senior resident magistrate Caroline Cheriot ordered the suspects be taken back to the cells until such a time when the file will be ready. The suspects were apprehended over the weekend following outgoing investigations, and our political religious leaders have called for speedy investigations to establish the identity of some of the attackers and their sponsors.
So considering we do not have their police file, I'll request that they be taken back to the cells until we clarify whether the plea is before court.
And now the Kirinyaga County Assembly has approved the county government's 2026-2027 budget estimates worth more than 7 billion shillings, with health, ward development and education emerging as the key beneficiaries. Now, during debate, members of the County Assembly urged the executive to prioritize implementation of approved projects and ensure public funds are utilized for their intended purpose. They resolved to increase the allocation for ward-based development projects to 600 million Kenyan shillings. MCAs also endorsed an additional 110 million shillings for the county bursary program, raising the total bursary allocation to 210 million Kenyan shillings.
Budget ya mwaka huu na ile department ambayo imepata pesa mingi sana ni department ya health. Inachukuanga almost karibu 30% na wage bill, na hiyo zingine zinaenda kwa infrastructure, lakini hatuwezi sema zingine zimepotea. Manake kama education tumeongezea kutoka milioni 100 mpaka milioni 210. Kwa hivyo basari ya mwaka huu itakuwa zaidi, kwa sababu kila ward itakuwa na milioni 10. Pia pande ya development ya ward, zile miradi ambayo tunapatiwa na Wajiko tumeongeza pesa. Mwaka hii itakuwa milioni 600, ward zote 20, na kwa hivyo mimi naona mwaka huu itakuwa kazi itafanyika.
Now we cross over to Kilifi County now, where a Kenyan-Italian businessman and his wife have been charged before a Malindi court over a fire allegedly caused by negligence that led to the destruction of property worth millions of shillings. Now, Franco Esposito and his wife Ellie denied charges of causing a fire through negligence that destroyed the Duma villa valued at 667 million Kenyan shillings. The two were released on 300,000 shillings bond each, while their passports were confiscated. The case is set for mention on July 25th.
Person shall be released on a personal bond of 300,000. They will deposit their passports in court. Mentioned on 23rd July 2026 for trial before court 4.
But what this court has not been told is that he is also facing another criminal matter in this court, which is E-135 of 2025.
And now from Kilifi, we cross over to Kakamega County, where women in Shinyalu constituency, Kakamega County, staged demonstrations to protest the rising cases of child abductions, defilement, and murder involving children aged below 10 years. Now, they accuse authorities of failing to protect minors from the growing threat and now want the investigations expedited and culprits arraigned before a court of law. They say affected families have endured untold agony and are in need of any form of closure.
Tumepoteza mtoto mwanafunzi hapa Irobo ambaye alishikwa na watu ambao hawana nia njema kwa jamii, mtoto wa miaka 7 akabakwa na akauawa. Hapo chini Shabuali pia tumepatikana na janga la mtoto wa miaka 5 hivi ambaye pia ameshikwa akabakwa akauawa. Tunataka kutoa wito kama kiongozi wa Shinyalu, changamoto ya usalama must be addressed and be given priority.
Wanashika watu tano wanaachiliwa. Mimi naona huyo mtu na mimi ameua mtoto wangu. Mnaleta inji gani hapa?
Now, Wote Town in Makueni County is among urban areas set to benefit from a 500 million government-funded water reticulation project being implemented by the Tana Adi Water Works Development Agency. Now, the fully solar-powered water supply project is part of wider efforts to improve access to clean and reliable water across the lower eastern region. Residents say the project is a major relief for women and children who have borne the burden of trekking long distances in search of the precious commodity.
We are treating this water behind me. We have a solar farm. And then pumping all this water to Makueni town, Wote Town specifically, in Makueni High School. That's where the reservoir tanks are. And then supply to the entire town.
In Wote alone, the non-revenue water is at now 32%. Means every 100 liters that you pump, 32 cannot be accounted for. And the smart meters will enable us then account for the water we are using.
Tuko na furaha sana. Tulikuwa tunachota maji saa ingine na mgongo, nabeba kwa mgongo. Saa ingine tunanunua mtungi moja 20 bob, of which inakuanga ngumu sana mtu kukua na hiyo pesa.
And now from Makueni, we take you to Nakuru County, whereas erratic rainfall patterns affect harvest due to climate change. A section of smallholder farmers in Nakuru County is embracing indigenous knowledge and agroecology to stabilize their food systems. Now, indigenous crops mature quickly, require minimal rainfall, and are naturally resistant to pests, making them ideal for semi-arid regions. Now, according to Mother Waithira Jenga, a smallholder farmer at Kiptangwanyi village in Gilgil sub-county, the bulk of work involves multiplying assorted indigenous seeds in a controlled environment to avoid contamination. This holistic approach to agriculture emphasizes indigenous seed banks, soil health, environmental conservation, biodiversity, and reduced reliance on expensive chemical inputs.
Tunapanda wakati wa kiangazi. Tukipanda wakati wa kiangazi, mvua tu ikikuja, mahindi yetu itakuwa ya kwanza. So tutakuwa na cross pollination. So tutapata mbegu zetu yenye inastahili.
Zile product wametoa huko, wamelima huko, zikiwa organic, tunazileta kwa market na tuna supply kwa wakulima na kwa market.
Tuna experience prolonged droughts. Kwa hivyo hizi mbegu kwa sababu zimekuwa na sisi for generations, ndizo ambazo mababu zetu wamekuwa wakipanda, zimezoea mchanga wetu, zimezoea pia hali ya zile area zetu, unapata zinastahimili.
Now, the county government of Narok has carried out a multi-million infrastructure overhaul at the Masai Mara National Reserve to improve access within the park, now facilitate better ranger patrols, enhance the visitor experience, and of course bolster conservation efforts. County Executive Committee member for Tourism, Wildlife and Culture, Robert Simotu, says the initiatives are aimed at enhancing a visitor experience, protecting wildlife habitats, and preserving one of the world's most iconic ecosystems. According to Simotu, the county has constructed modern visitor amenities, including PWD-friendly facilities, upgraded ranger housing, and launched the Masai Mara Conservation Center. Now, guided by the reserve's management and spatial plans, the county is also rehabilitating road networks, strengthening ranger operations, and adopting technology-driven conservation measures to improve access, reduce congestion, and of course, enhance wildlife protection.
Masai Mara, at the moment, has wonderful infrastructure that has been put in place by the county government of Narok. The roads are in good shape, that people can just move from one corner to the other corner of Masai Mara so that they get value for their money. I want to thank His Excellency, the Governor Patrick Ndutu, for actually prioritizing developing the infrastructure in Masai Mara. When you go to various sections, we've been able to put in place sanitary facilities which are of world-class standards. We want to decongest Masai Mara because initially, before we came to this plan, there were complaints that Masai Mara is so congested, and this congestion was not good for wildlife. And we put in place this plan, and we are implementing this plan for the good of the locals, for the good of the tourists, and for the good of the wildlife, which of course is the reason why we have this facility.
And now let's cross over to Bungoma County, where the quality of education and safety in sections of schools in Webuye East Constituency, Bungoma County, has come under focus with revelations that thousands of learners are still learning in outdated semi-permanent structures. Now, schools such as Masibai, FYM, and Musa Junior are using semi-permanent facilities with the dilapidated floors, posing serious health risk to the minors. Now, Isaac Masinde, who is the head teacher Masibai FYM says the facilities remain in use despite their wanting condition owing to inadequate funding, appealing for support to construct modern structures.
The school began in the year 2011, so up to date we've been making use of the structure. We are still making a follow-up to the national government and the CDF so that the school can be upgraded with the new buildings.
Bado kuna madarasa ambayo hayako permanent structures and which are not permanent in schools. That is not very good for our schools. Unapoangalia sehemu zingine wanafunzi wanasomea pale ambako kuna mpaka cabros na kadhalika, lakini sisi watoto mpaka saa hizi wanapepa samadi shuleni. Hiyo ni jambo ambayo ni la kuhuzunisha sana.
And still on education beat, learners have been urged to choose their career pathways early to better prepare for the evolving job market driven by rapid technological advancements. Now, speaking during the three-day 2026 International Education and Career Fair event at ACK St. Bank's Church, Westlands, Nairobi, educationist noted the importance of a student maintaining good character, which will keep them in the place of work. The fair brought together local and international education institutions alongside professionals from various sectors to showcase academic programs, scholarship opportunities, and of course, employment prospects.
We give the students an opportunity to speak out and to tell us what are the challenges that they are facing. And one of the things that we noted from the students' feedback is that they are crying out to be heard. They want us to listen to them as parents. They want us to listen to them as teachers. And we informed them that the degree can acquire you an interview, but it is your character that will keep you in your place of work.
If you're planning on going to university, you could learn more about how you could go to university, your options, what you have, what you could do. They help you build on your confidence as well.
Now, the government has allocated 2 billion shillings to facilitate the promotion of more than 50,000 teachers across the country who have remained in the same job group for an extended period. The move is aimed at motivating teachers, recognizing the experience and dedication, and addressing career stagnation within the teaching profession. Now, speaking during the annual general meeting at Tanyilel Senior Girls School, the director of staffing at the
to promote teachers. For the last 3 years, we've recruited 3,158 teachers here in Baringo County. This constituency alone, 772 were recruited.
Please, as you recruit the new teachers, that
The government has given you to employ 16,000 teachers in Kenya and to promote another 50,000 teachers. Please advertise, including this school and other schools, positions for teachers for technical subjects.
And now let's get to business. The Kenya Ports Authority is expanding and upgrading inland container depots across the country to ease congestion at the port of Mombasa and speed up cargo clearance for regional markets. The modernization drive includes expanding the Naivasha Inland Container Depot, which handles about 450,000 24 equivalent units annually, while leveraging the railway network to improve cargo movement to Uganda, Rwanda and DRC and South Sudan.
The Kenya Ports Authority is upgrading inland container depots to manage rising cargo volumes at the port of Mombasa. Kenya Ports Authority Inland Container Depot Manager Paul Bord says the move aimed at reducing clearance delays, logistic costs and turnaround times for importers and regional traders.
Kwa upande wa biashara, bandari kafu imesaidia usafirishaji ya mzigo kutoka bandari kuu hadi bandari ya kafu ya Nairobi na ya Naivasha. Tunasafirisha vyombo vya ulimaji, aswa mbolea na kama tractors ama farm implements. Vile mnavyojua tuko na port moja kule Lamu ambaye naenda paka Ethiopia ukipitia Lapset.
Board says the Naivasha Inland Container Depot is being prioritized for long-haul cargo destined for Uganda, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan, allowing the port of Mombasa to focus on domestic and shorter distance cargo.
Msiko ingine inaenda na ile reli ya zamani ambayo tunaita meter gauge, inaenda paka Kisumu na ikiwa pale inashushwa inapita na bandari ya Kisumu, Lake Victoria ikielekea upande wa Chinja na upande wa Port Bell.
Kenya expects to lower transport costs and accelerate cargo movement across the region by shifting domestic and transit cargo from roads to standard gauge railway and meter gauge railway networks through inland and container depots.
Nakuru ni kaunti moja nzuri sana kuhusiana na ukulima, na bandari ya port ndo kilelezo ya vile vitu zinaingia zikitoka.
Na huenda hivi karibuni tutakuwa na bandari kavu sehemu za Moyale.
We have seen how transportation is taking place in the sea, also the lakes and on the land.
Ezekiel Owino reporting for Lunchtime News.
And the government is assuring millions of Sacco members that their savings are safe and will not be used to finance public infrastructure projects. Now, Cooperative's Principal Secretary Patrick Kilemi says reports suggesting Sacco deposits would be channeled into National Infrastructure Fund are false and misleading. Here's more.
The State Department for Cooperatives has dismissed claims that more than 1 trillion shillings held by SACCOs will be used to fund government infrastructure projects.
At no point did the Deputy President of the government propose using SACCO funds for this purpose.
Speaking in Nairobi, Cooperative's Principal Secretary Patrick Kilemi said savings in SACCO exclusively belong to members and are managed independently by the SACCOs.
The millions of Kenyans who are members of SACCOs, SACCO funds remain the property of the respective SACCOs and are managed exclusively by the elected officials.
Kilemi says the National Infrastructure Fund would be capitalized using proceeds from the sale of selected government entities, including stakes in companies such as Kenya Pipeline Company and Safaricom.
The National Infrastructure Fund has secured some seed capital of around 345 billion from the proceeds of sale of Kenya Pipeline Company and Safaricom. The funds are aimed to create fiscal space in the national budget by financing specific infrastructure projects.
Kilemi says any future investment opportunities, including infrastructure bonds, would remain voluntary and would only be undertaken by SACCOs with surplus liquidity after approval by members. The cooperative movement has more than 14 million members and manages assets worth more than 1.2 trillion shillings. For Lunchtime News, I'm Ben Troenjue.
And our private businesses have been told to establish internship programs that align with current labor market demands to improve youth employability. In My Steps Director, Emily Kabunde Osoro says internship opportunities in Kenya remain largely dominated by the public institutions, accounting for most of the placements. The call comes amid growing concern over the mismatch between graduate skills and employers' needs, which is among the biggest barriers to youth employment.
As you all know, the youth unemployability is at about 17% as we speak, which is almost 3 times more than the national average. The challenge we continue to receive is that the graduates and students leaving college and TVET institutions as well as the universities, there is a gap between what is taught in classroom and what they face in the employability space. So what In My Steps does, it provides an opportunity for them to train on the soft skills. It provides for them an opportunity that will open doors for them to then make it easy for them to transition easily into employment.
Maybe by the time an intern understands a business or even how a business works, maybe it's a month gone. By the time they understand the role, maybe another 2 weeks gone, and they're left with maybe 6 more weeks to work. By the time they're really getting it, they're told it's time up. So such programs allow you to bridge a gap, to start getting to the program, understanding how a business works. So by the time an intern comes to the business, they have an understanding of what's expected from them, and that really helps them to move forward and really appreciate their role. And I would say that will, in theory, support the business to look at expanding the headcount and essentially thinking about full absorption.
And now let's get sporty. Now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki early this morning inspected the ongoing construction works of the 60,000-seater Talanta Sports City along Ngong Road, Nairobi, to assess the progress of the project ahead of the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Now, the DP lauded the Ruto administration for taking the bold move in constructing such a project of an international standard, saying it is the first international stadium to be built in this country since the completion of Kasarani Stadium in 1987, 39 years ago. Professor Kindiki hinted that one other stadia are being built across Kenya, noting that it is the most extensive sports development program ever initiated in the country. Kindiki praised the workers for their role in building the nation, literally with their hands and labor.
Ni miaka 39 imepita. The last time Kenya built a brand new stadium, international stadium, was in 1987 when we built the Kasarani International Sports Center. So mumeona ya kwamba kwa muda mrefu nchi yetu haijaweka uwekezaji katika mambo ya viwanja, mambo ya michezo kwa karibu miaka 40. Na ndio tunasema Rais Ruto ametusaidia sana kwa sababu ni kupitia kwa serikali hii ambapo tumefufua mambo ya kujenga, mambo ya spoti, mambo ya talanta za vijana, kwa sababu hii Talanta Stadium iko karibu kuisha, lakini mnajua ya kwamba bado tunarekebisha ile Kasarani, tumeirekebisha, tunaendelea kuiboresha ile Nyayo Stadium, vile tunaweka canopy, na katika taifa letu la Kenya tuko na stadium zingine 31.
In our World Cup news, Charles de Ketelaere scored twice as Belgium defeated USA 4-1 in the round of 16 match of the ongoing FIFA 2026 World Cup. Now, United States became the third and final co-host to be knocked out of the World Cup. It was a largely lethargic display by the US, who had a star striker Florine Balogun in their starting lineup after President Donald Trump had asked FIFA to review his ban following his red card in the previous round. FIFA responded by suspending the automatic one-match ban for the 12 months, but their leading scorer at the tournament, with 3 goals, was largely isolated as Belgium dominated the game. It means it will be Belgium will face Spain in the last 8 in Los Angeles on Friday after the European champions beat Portugal 1-0.
Going and so well. There's Moreno, he wins that free kick. Honda comes in. Ferran Torres. We've seen him.
Now that's where we say adios to the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo, for playing his last international match. And that's where we end our lunchtime news on KBC Channel 1. My name is Giverson, Maina. Our sign language interpreter is Caroline Njoroge. See you again and have a great day.